we're going to Angel Grove, the most dangerous place on Earth, unless you're a teen with attitude. There's lots to unpack here in this Power Rangers Lightning Collection Red Ranger figure released way back in 2019. And I would say this is especially impressive because the likeness of Jason Scott over here actually doesn't look the worst. So let's take a look at the packaging. Standard windowed box, not the windowless packaging that Hasbro had tried to enact recently. And they're pulling back because of various reasons. I think a lot having to do with theft and quality control. Standard Red Ranger picture over here, Lightning Collection down there, Mighty Morphin Red Ranger. We got a big old warning. Kids under 3 probably choke on some of these pieces. Good to know, especially because Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is a children's brand. At the back, we've got a stylized pose of the Red Ranger. I'm actually surprised there's no flavor text and no photos of the other toys in this line. I don't remember what else was released with this figure at the time, but I have a feeling it was a couple other Rangers from some other eras, and maybe there's no line cohesion, and maybe that's why they got rid of it. But look, yeah, again, looks extremely plain. Through the window, we do see all the accessories here. We've got the swappable head, as we've mentioned. We've got the power sword down here. We've got the power gun up there. We've got the electricity effect that we see goes on that sword, which looks pretty cool. And, of course, there are some extra hands down here. The 6-inch Lightning Collection Mighty Morphin Red Ranger figure features premium paint and decorative details inspired by the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers show. And from the website description, from the Beast Morphers back to the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the Power Rangers have brought teamwork, action, and adventure to fans. Unfortunately, it doesn't come with a morpher. Sucks. The figure offers over 20 points of articulation, placed strategically, which offers some pretty decent movement for an acrobatic character. It's honestly difficult to go wrong with a bodysuit character. It's got clean, simple lines, defined aesthetic, known quantity, and referenceable source material, which of course helps that it also comes from a live action show rather than something from, let's say, a comic book, so nothing surprising. Here we've got swivel hinge ankles, boot calf swivel, double hinge knees with pins. This is 2019 after all. Swivel thighs, ball jointed drop down hips, ab crunch waist, ball jointed torso hinge, butterfly pecs, swivel hinge drop down shoulders, barbell jointed head, bicep swivel, double hinge elbows with pins, swivel hinge wrists. Now, normally I would be replacing the head, but I had a little bit of trouble, and I don't really want to break the figure at the head, especially because, at least as far as my collection is concerned, I'm really only interested in Power Ranger. I don't really care for its Jason version. I don't really want to keep it like that. So we're just going to play it safe, just in case anything breaks off, because I'm way past the return window at this point. Some things to mention, though, and some other collectors have already brought this up. The chest, the torso body red is a different red than the arms, legs, and helmet, which is unfortunate. It's not a super glaring issue, but if you look for it, you can definitely find it. To me, it doesn't affect it too much again, because I kind of don't look at my figures for accuracy, and I don't know who I'm supposed to be displaying it to, where they yell at me for some kind of inconsistencies with the show. I think everybody can just see this action figure for what it is. But at the same time, that being said, I can understand, especially when you're paying, $19.99 or $24.99 or however much this figure had costed, to not have that level of QA there. Which, again, I think is part of the reason why Hasbro has had to pull back from the windowless boxes. One thing to point out here is that the gun fits well in the holster with no opportunities for it to really fall out. It's pretty sturdy in there. There is a nice amount of detail in the morpher, which is actually pretty delicate, painted there and sculpted as well. And of course, this is in contrast to the kind of simplicity of the suit as a whole. You can sort of see the discoloration of the torso and crotch area compared to the red plastic that's on the legs and the arms, as well as the helmet. And he holds his sword really, really sturdily, so it doesn't look like it's going to fall out anytime soon. If you're to play with it, you can probably bash it a couple times against another figure with no hassle there. as we move into the figure comparisons to help you decide how the design language for this particular figure shapes up to others in a similar universe, we're bringing along other Hasbro figures from the G.I. Joe Classics line, the Classified line, the Star Wars Black Series. Obviously, we're going to have a representative from the Lightning Collection and a standard, perfectly 6-inch scale, 6-inch Spider-Man. And actually, taking a look at these, obviously, it really just looks good within its own universe. It doesn't really match the level of detail in the Marvel Legends line, and certainly not the level of realism. And, well, I shouldn't even say realism, because the Power Rangers are a live-action show, but they don't seem as gritty and realistic as, you know, the Star Wars or the G.I. Joe figures. But one of the bigger comparisons that I want to be able to showcase here is that the Red Ranger from the budget Power Rangers line, as we can see here, which you may have seen in plastic-free packaging at stores like Walmart. And I'll be honest, I really tried to figure out the name of what this line was called, and maybe I just didn't try hard enough, but I really couldn't find it, and here we are. The price difference between the two, and I believe this was $24.99 MSRP, the Lightning Collection, versus $16.97 for the budget line, I suppose. Although we can see a noticeable lack of articulation from the budget version, the design actually doesn't suffer too much at a glance, and honestly, you might have a difficult time differentiating the two. It is much brighter colors than the budget version. It is a little bit skinnier. But if you had separated them, I'm not sure you'd be able to tell without a closer inspection. One of the things that I did want to point out is all the red is consistent, and there is next to no detail on that morpher. He has a bunch of weapons, and they're all colored white like the original kid versions that we had when we were little. One complaint, I guess, about this one, before I put this away, actually, is that this arm doesn't come down. He's constantly at a state of high noon ready with his holster if I put a gun in there. But anyway, there you have it. I mean, I don't have too many issues with my Lightning Collection Red Ranger figure. Man, it's not going to stand anymore. We're just lying down there. None of the joints are loose. He seems to be posing okay in some of the test shots that I'd done just off to the side, just to test whether or not it looked any good. Really, the only issue I ran into was really not having good time attempting to pull off his helmeted head, and then at some point, a couple minutes into it, I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna risk it. I've actually broken a couple figures before just because I wanted to see what the alternate head looked like, and honestly, it's just not worth having to buy another figure or having to, contact customer service for Hasbro and seeing whether they have a figure in stock that be able to replace it. Anyway. Let me know your thoughts about the Lightning Collection Red Ranger, whether you had the same experience as I had, whether you actually believe that some of the issues that the Red Ranger had in terms of QA is not acceptable for the price point. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.